what else I wanted to touch on is with the body image stuff, you're obviously still on that journey very much. So
Totally.
as a lot of people are. But what strategies and steps have you done other than going to therapy, like internal and self discovery steps that you've done to help yourself with those body image thoughts and issues?
Oh, okay. I think one, and I think it's a bit more like subconsciously has helped me rather than like straight out, is making sure on social, on Instagram and things like that, I am following and seeing people who have my body type.
Yeah.
And
that's incredible.
Yeah, and be positive about it. And I always hear people say, like, unfollow people if they make you feel sad, and like make sure that you're, you know, interacting and being able to see people that do look like you, and being positive about it themselves is really good. And I always thought, oh yeah, but I do genuinely think that helps, because you see all these other people being confident and living their lives and achieving their goals, and you're like, I look similar to that, so why can't that be the same for me? And it can be. And I think, like, you know, it was hard for a while there because you're always the before photo. So it's just nice to find those groups or those influencers, TikTokers, whoever, who are
embracing,
and they feel really good and positive, and it sort of just lifts you up as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. And then I think also just, I mean, it's hard for me as well. As you know, we talked just before about how we both suffer from IBS and gut issues. And so, like, having that as well can sort of make me feel worse because I'm always bloated. And so then I'm looking and I'm like, it's just not a distorted image. It's what I look like, but
it's not what you actually look like all the time.
Exactly.
This is just when you're bloated. Yeah.
So I think just finding things to help deal with that as well is really important. Yeah. And one that's recently come up, which I'm loving, is I would always force myself to go to the gym, like just like a random gym, and do like a workout, like spend half an hour on the treadmill, then go on the machines, like by myself, just doing whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't really love it.
Yeah.
And now I've found F45, which is so expensive, but it's so worth it. And I love it, and I enjoy going, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, it's not necessarily to lose weight or anything, but it's just to make sure that I'm moving my body, and because exercise does release, is it serotonin? One of the endorphins.
Yeah, it is serotonin.
One of the like happiness chemicals.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel good knowing that I'm moving my body and doing things like that, but not looking at it as like a
chore,
a weight loss thing or a chore. It's just about getting in a good routine that makes me feel happy and confident and stuff like that.
Well, I think, again, that's another thing I've learned this past year is having a good relationship with fitness. I think we all force ourselves to work out because we think we have to work out and we think we have to lose weight.
Yes.
It's just like trained in our brains and in society and on TV ads and everything to be working out and to do like stupid hours. People are like, I'm at the gym for like 3 hours on the treadmill.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, honey, you go for half an hour, like, I don't know, 5 days a week, you get the same results.
And a lot of us don't have 3 hours in the day, you know?
Yeah. I think learning that exercise should be a exciting thing and a positive thing, whatever you decide to do, like whether that be going to the gym or F45 or swimming or walking or like, I really, really love Pilates.
Nice.
And again, so expensive, but it's just, I'm not like puffed and I'm not crazy sweaty, but I'm pushing myself and I'm stretching good. And I feel so good afterwards.
That's important.
So just finding your exercise, and just if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Like there's so much guilt in not working out every day that I think we need to normalize listening to your body and realizing that one day of not exercising is not going to make you unfit or fat.
It's totally a guilt thing that you need to learn to get rid of. Like, that's totally it. It's feeling guilty that you're not working out, that you've eaten something, that you don't look a certain way.
Yeah.
That you're feeling guilty because maybe you are trying to lose weight or you're on a journey to grow your glutes or something like that, and it's not happening that quickly.
Yeah. But it, like you said, is a journey.
Yes.
It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not instantly. And that's what I think, again, is the concept of finding that healthy relationship and realizing that good things always take time. And it's cheesy, but they really do.
They do.
And it's just balance, just listening to what your body needs in that moment and what's going to, uplift you. And if you need to stay in bed for a day, do it.
Yeah, because that's going to help you too. You need rest.
Yeah, I'm here for that, for the extra rest.
Totally.
Touching back on boys and the boy thing.
We love boys.
We love boys. I just wanted to kind of talk, because obviously this is your first relationship.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, it sounds like you guys are amazing and the journey has been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect. I'm not going to sit here and be like, our relationship's perfect and we're the best and you all suck. But I'm very happy in it.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Do you think in the beginning, because it was a new relationship and you'd never done it before, do you think there was anything that you kind of learned on this journey, or there's any big things you've learned from going into a relationship and now having one that's so comfortable and easy and you can feel confident in? Was there any like bumps in the road or anything you learned in the beginning that you were like, I wish I could tell someone going into a fresh relationship, just don't worry about this, or this is how you should do this?
Yeah, well, so Aaron and I met on Tinder. So that's,
yes!
Tinderello, I know. And so we had actually, sorry, you're getting a bit of a backstory here now.
Yeah, we love it.
We had matched a year before we properly started talking. So we had matched, and I think we had each other on like Instagram and Snapchat and stuff like that, and we obviously talked at the beginning and then it fizzled.
Yeah.
And like I think he'd occasionally send me a Snapchat, like a view or something. You know how boys do things like up the mountains, they'll send like a picture of the mountain. Like maybe I sent him an occasional Snapchat when I was out drinking with the girls, you know, because
looking good.
That's what we do. And then in the first lockdown New Zealand had,
so 2 years ago.
2 years ago, we started chatting.
Yeah.
Talking, and the conversation just was really easy. And then after lockdown, because I went home for lockdown to Wellington, so I was back in Auckland. He lives in Auckland. He was like, shall we go out on a date? And I'm just going to put a disclaimer. I'm a bitch, man. Okay, so, let's do it. And he was like, okay, how about Thursday? And I was like, yep, perfect. And then because I'd never been out on a date before, I was not someone that had a lot of male attention. I have the privilege of having like the most beautiful friends in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time guys would come up to me and be like, hey, who's your friend? Can you introduce me? Yeah. Like that sort of thing. So I'm not used to having guys like me or the attention on me. And so I basically was so unconfident that I freaked out, and then I just didn't. Then he like messaged me, okay, like he obviously sent me a message back, and then I just never opened it and just never replied. And then the date was meant to happen like 3 days later. And he like messaged me the day like, hey, what time for tonight? And I just never opened it and just never replied. And I basically like ghosted him for like
Courtney.
a week. And it's really mean because he's such a sweetie. But it was my own like
personal
internal. I was so scared. I wasn't scared that I wasn't going to like him. I was scared that he was going to take one look at me and not like what he saw, especially because
which is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
He did like what he saw, so that's good. And because you know you match on Tinder and it's all, you know, you put your best photos up.
Yeah, it's a highlight reel.
And so anyway, then I felt like terrible and I felt so guilty. I thought, this guy's been nothing but nice to me. Like, what am I doing? And so then I texted him this big apology. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
And he was kind enough to be like, should we give it a second try?
Yeah.
And so I was like, perfect. And then we organised a date for the next week. And then I was actually in town with my friends, and I'd had a few probably espresso martinis because they're my favourite.
Yes.
And I ended up messaging him being like, are you out? And he was, so he came and met me. I actually, in my first ever podcast, talk about how I slid into the DMs that night. It was quite a good one.
God.
I sent him this I said 4079Y, and he goes, what's that? And I say, my door code for when you come over.
Courtney!
So if anyone needs to use one, that's really good. Anyway,
saucy girl.
and I just was thinking in my head, like, oh, we could meet in town first before our date. He could see me from a distance, decide, you know, if he liked the look of me or not. Because the whole thing, I have a great personality. Like, come on.
You really do.
You can tell from this.
The best.
It was all just, I was scared physically that he wasn't going to like me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we met in town that night and it was all good. We just got a drink and like talked on the balcony and stuff. Yeah. And then we went on our date and it was really nice. And I was so nervous still because, you know, when people have been drinking and stuff, when you meet someone, it's a bit different when you're not, but yeah.
But I think liquid courage is great. Yeah. I think people who say don't drink on your first date or don't go out for a drink as a date, they don't fucking know what they're talking about.
It's nerve-wracking.
It's so nerve-wracking. And people, like, genuinely, once they've had a drink, one, are more confident, and two, the things they talk about, they're actually usually more open. Yeah. Every time I have a drunk conversation with someone, it's like they're the most open they've ever been. And Conrad and I's first date was a drink. We went out for a drink. And I have to say, both of us were shitting ourselves.
It is so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's like it's not a blind date, but it's like it's a complete new human being. You've never known the human being. And unless it's a mutual friend, you actually don't know them.
Exactly. And they could be a murderer, you know.
Yeah, so like not too many drinks, but at the same time, it just helps lighten the mood, loosen you up, calm the nerves, and just, I think, have some of the most genuine conversations. Yeah. Even though you're wasted.
So then for our first date, we went for a drink and like got some nibbles, and he was a perfect gentleman, and it was really nice. Yeah. And I really embarrassed myself on that first date because I'd absolutely done a huge stalk of him on Instagram with all my workmates.
As you do, yeah.
Beforehand, we were like deep diving, and like we were looking at his tagged photos, his friends, his sister. Like we deep dived in, and then I obviously just locked my phone and didn't go on it again. And then he was like, I've got a dog called Bentley, and like showed me pics. And I was like, oh my God, I have a cat called Bentley, and unlocked my phone to show him a photo, and it just popped up on his profile, his Instagram page.
What did he say?
He was like, I was like, oh my God, and I like swiped it away, and he was just like looking at me like in hysterics, laughing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you've got 10 seconds to make a run for it.
Oh, you guys are so
And he
sweet.
didn't, so it was fine, and he still gives me shit about it to this day. But no, so the relationship's been really good. I mean, I guess would be the thing I learned, just to have more confidence in yourself and put yourself out there, because it can work out well, and don't be scared, and also don't be rude and ghost people.
Yeah, no, I actually have to say the first date with Conrad and I, it sounds so similar, because I asked him out on a date. So I think he followed me on Instagram, or I followed him on Instagram. I can't remember how it worked. And then I was just drunk with the girls one night, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to ask him on a date. And so this is so brief, but I asked him on a date, and then I made him reschedule, or kind of, I guess, stood him up but didn't stand him up, but rescheduled 3 times. Because I was that nervous. And I kept coming up with all these excuses of why I couldn't do tonight, and why I couldn't do the other night, and why I couldn't do that night. And then my boss, actually, at work at the time, because they all knew about the coffee boy, because we had an espresso machine at work, but I'd come in with a bought coffee from the same place every day, and they were like, why are you just not making yourself a free coffee? Yeah. And then she was like, something is holding you to this place, and she figured it out. But then they obviously knew that I wasn't going on these dates, and she was like to me, you realise if you don't go this 4th time, he will not go again. And so she was like, I'll do your hair, I'll make you look pretty, and you can leave from here and go. And I was fucking shitting myself, and so was he. But we literally went on that one date, and it's the same as you. It just clicked, and it just worked. And it was the liquid courage that we both needed, and I think we both said some things that we probably wouldn't have said if we were sober, like just about ourselves. And just clicked. We were compatible. It was like similar lives. Nice. And
I think just having the courage to put yourself out there, because I guess we're always scared of rejection and we don't want that, but
it might not work.
It might, yes, but it might.